What would you say is your first big break in the movie business?
Friday felt like my first big break because it was the first time that I had a speaking role in a movie, which was like such a big deal to me. But I think Eve's Bayou was kind of like really the beginning for me because it was the first time I had a co-starring role where I was throughout the movie and it was a lot of heavy drama and I hadn't got a chance to do drama up until that point, and it had a phenomenal cast and just everything about it was um, people hadn't seen that kind of movie before, and it was a black female director, and I had never worked with a female director, let alone a black female director, and it just was really life changing for me and transitional to my career.
And that's great because those first two big breaks for you are classic movies. To this day, people watch Friday and Eve's Bayou and they can flash back. When's the last time you watched Eve's Bayou to watch yourself in that?
Oh gosh, it's been a while. It's been a while. It's I have such fun. Like, I was only 14, and so I was like just like growing, and that was so instrumental in my like youth and my world. And like, I was just talking to Journey the other day, and she's on Lovecraft Country, and she's just doing phenomenal work. And I'm just like, girl, did you ever think, 10-year-old you and 14-year-old me, did you ever think it's pretty incredible and amazing to still have relationships with all these people, Lynn and Sam and Debbie, and it's crazy. Yeah.
That's an all-star cast right there. You know what I've always appreciated about you? That you're always so poised. Like, people can ask you questions that I feel like can be rude and intrusive sometimes, but you handle it really well. Have you ever have you ever left an interview and be like, I'll never talk to that person again?
No, I like being challenged. You know, I'm okay with it. I think as I'm getting older, I'm starting to ask myself, is it worth the challenge at times, but I honestly don't mind it, and I kind of enjoy it a little bit. And there's been shows where people just, I mean, I've been on places where someone just literally try to play me out, and I'm like, really? That's all right. That's your stuff. That's got nothing to do with me. God bless you. I love you, and that's how I respond in my responding, because at the end of the day, a lot of the things that people do or situations they put you in really have nothing to do with you. You're just bearing the brunt end of it because of what you do for a living. And so it's been a process to learn how to not take that stuff personally. But I think I enjoy I enjoy the only other thing I would have been besides an actress is probably a lawyer. So if you come for me, I'm never going to lose my cool or flip out, or like I will never give somebody that. That's too much to give them. To me, I feel like I've already lost if I do that. So I keep it together because I'm like, okay, go ahead. All right. Okay, now I'm going to answer you like this. And I'm also going to answer you in love. And to me, I kind of enjoy it because it keeps my brain sharp and it keeps me ready.
No, that's good. I admire that because I've watched a few of your interviews and I've been like, man, because you're a very nice, sweet person. And I know people that know you and they say she's genuinely like that. So it's just always a little baffling to me. Now, I saw on Clubhouse the other day, Bow Wow was talking about you because you
Oh,
guys, you guys were in Roll Bounce together. I don't know if you heard about it yet. Did you hear what he said?
no, what do you say?
Well, first he said that he used to always try to holler at you back then, but you didn't give him any rhythm. And then he said that he would purposely mess up the kissing scenes so that he would get to kiss you again.
Oh, really? Let me tell you something. First of all, Shad, like that's my boy. I love him to pieces. But he was so much younger than me. When we did Roll Bounce, he was 16 and I was 22. It was like it, you know what I'm saying? So there was never even a chance or thought ever. But I didn't know the kissing scene thing, but that's all right, that's all right.
Now that you look back at it, are you like, he kind of did do that?
You know what? Maybe it was so long ago that there's things I remember about it, but that me being a child like predator was not one of them.
What are some of the most like awkward scenes that you had? Have you ever had a time when you've had to work with somebody, but it just wasn't comfortable? You're like, well, I do my own stunts, so it's not like I'm gonna have a body double, so that is definitely a stunt that you had to do. That's not a bad first scene to have to do, though, I have to say. It's, not, at least you're comfortable with him.
Yeah, I love Mike. Like Mike is like a brother to me, and it's great because we're both married, and we know each other's spouses, and it just makes it easier, and it makes it more like you can actually just have fun and laugh about it.
What did Devon say when you guys were watching it together?
He's so funny. When we first saw it, he was like, "Oh, oh, oh," and I was like, "Babe, stop! There's people in here." And he was like, "I'm just saying, I wasn't ready." And I was like, "Okay, can you stop, please?" But the day when we shot it, I was like, told him, I was like, "Babe, I'm nervous. Like, I've never done anything that's like this." And he was like, "It's fine." He was like, "Just make it look real because you want to sell the relationship and you want people to be into you guys as a couple and really root for you guys and you want them to see the love." And he was like, "So just go for it and make it real." And I appreciated that because he's always so supportive, and he just has my back and he gets it. Like, he doesn't want me to be somebody else now that we're married. He knows the woman that he married. He knows I've been acting since I was a child, and it's a huge part of my life and my passion, and he's never tried to stand in the way or change any part of that, which has been amazing.
Are you guys planning on doing something together, like maybe turning The Wait into a movie or something like that?
There's been some talk of it. There's been some talk of it. But let me tell you something about this man. You need to call him because he has not hired me since before we even dated. I'm like, "Really, babe?" I'm like,
That's
"You're
a
not
little
gonna give me a job?
grimy.
You're not gonna give me a job? That's fine. That's fine." So we'll see in the future. I hope, the movie I did, Monster Hunter, that comes out Friday. Mila Jovovich, her and her husband Paul's the director. Obviously, she's the actress. They produced together. When we were filming in South Africa, we're in the middle of the desert, living in tents, and she's got her two little girls there, and they're like a family living in like an extra, little bit bigger tent. It's like the four of them, and they have a tutor there and a nanny. And I was just like, man, like, that's what I want. I want you to produce and me to direct or act, and like us to have our own thing and have our kids there, and we just move to wherever we need to move to for whatever the project is. And it just like such a dope like lifestyle, and just I love their whole little family unit. And so I'm like, "Babe, you need to hire me."
I saw an article where you said you froze your eggs, right?
Yeah.
So, does that make you nervous to think about, like when do you think you're ready to do that? Are you thinking about that now, maybe during the pandemic? But you've been moving around and working so much. Like, when do you have time to even sit down and enjoy pregnancy?
We were I was thinking that I would finish the show that I had started, back in January of last year, and then that we would probably do it this year around this time. And then the pandemic happened, and going back to the show, we still have like 7 episodes left. So it's like we're looking at next year. Shazam 2 looks like it's gonna go middle of
Woo!
next year. So I think we're looking at end of next year. But I'm about ready. And it's taken me a long time to get here. I knew, I'm like a big Halle Berry fan. I have watched her my entire life and entire career. And when I saw that she had her first baby at like 40, I was like, I think I'm gonna be like that. You know, I'm not in a rush. And I know a lot of women are like, man, that's like, what they look forward to, and kind of like, motherhood is like what they aspire to. And I never really aspired to marriage. I never really aspired to motherhood. I was always very much focused on my career because that's all I knew my whole life, and it's what I love. And I love being a free nomad hippie. And once I got married and I realized that that can still work, you can still be who you are. It kind of now has made me excited about motherhood because I'm like, okay, I can work at both. I can still be the true identity of who I am. And I can also be a mother and be a great one. So I've just now gotten to that place, and I'll be 40 next year. And I'm like, okay, it's about that time.
That's good, because I really feel like it's invasive when people ask those questions, but because I saw you talked about freezing your eggs, and I know that conversations like this are helpful to other women also who, I know I've been really consumed with my career also, and then time just slips away, and it's never really like the perfect time to say, I can stop working for now, because there's always something that's coming up.
Right. And that's the thing, is like, it's never going to be an easy time per se. But that's why I like to have these conversations though, because even though it's like, oh gosh, I'm telling my business, I think that we go through what we go through so that we can help each other. And I think that we should be transparent and we should be real about what we're feeling and what we're thinking, because somebody else might be saying, like, I don't know, I wasn't rushing to motherhood, and they're feeling like a terrible person because that's not something you say, and it's like, but people feel that way. So let people work through and have their own season and process. And if you want to judge them for it, you can. But at the end of the day, it's good to let people know that they're not alone and they're allowed to have that process.
Absolutely. And you also stopped drinking, right? Is that correct?
No.
Oh, no? Okay. Somebody was like, I think Meagan Good stopped drinking.
Why did I say it like that, though? I was
You were
like,
like,
no.
girl, no.
No. I think I did quit smoking like 5 years ago.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. So, but drinking, no, I love to have my little wine, and once in a while I have a dirty martini. But yeah, I don't know. People thought that maybe because me and Devon, because he doesn't drink at all. He's never drank his entire life. Um, but I like to have a little bit of wine.
Not even some Jesus wine? So because look, it's hard for me to date somebody who doesn't drink. Like, that's difficult, because I do like to every now and then have a drink, but you've never tried to pressure him like early on, like, come on, babe, just have a little champagne.
No, because Devon's father passed away when he was 9, and he struggled with alcoholism. And so I think for Devon, it was partially that, and then partially just, growing up a Seventh-day Adventist and just his belief system. I think everything combined just made him make the decision, like, I'm not going that route. And it's actually something I really respect about him. And um, something I'm like proud of him for, just because I know people have probably tried to pressure him throughout his entire life, his teenage years, his early 20s, in college, and he's never folded for anybody under any circumstances. And so I actually really respect that a lot.
Now, how did you kick cigarettes? Because that was your advice, and people used to be like, I love Meagan Good, but she smokes cigarettes.
What's interesting is I think I smoked because of growing up in the industry and having so many people try to manipulate your path and kind of like control you, that when you get to a certain age, and for me it was 19, it was like, I'm done with people telling me what to do and how I have to do it. I'm going to do what I want to do. And one of the first things I picked up was cigarettes. And I think it was part of a silent rebellion. It was like, you don't want me to do that, so now I'm going to do it. And you want to try to take the cigarette out of my hand or say weird stuff like, you're too pretty to smoke. I'm like, what's too pretty to smoke? And something about it to me was like, no, I'm going to do what I want to do. And it took me a long time to realize that rebelliousness was really, a lot of it was just hurting me. And a lot of it was making me slightly self-destructive. And I didn't quite realize it because it was so about owning myself and being able to do what I wanted to do as a child actor coming into becoming a woman now, that it just took me time to be like, oh yeah, that's the reason that I'm doing that, is actually, it's not good for me, And I think what really got me to shift and decide that it was time to quit was just, getting married. And, at first, Devon, he did not like it at all. And, I was like, this is who I am. So it's like, you either take me and all of me, or you don't take me. And it's not about the cigarettes. It's about being able to have ownership over myself and not being changed for anybody. That was so important to me. From where I grew up as a young person, being like one of 2 Black families, from growing up in the industry, from the media takeouts to the gossips, my whole life experience had been so much about not being accepted and people trying to change me and tell me who I should be. And I've always fought against that. And I will always, I don't even fight against it now. I just ignore people. I'm over it. But that was very important to me, to be accepted. So when we got married, he said, one of the things he said in his vows to me were, if you never change anything about you, I will love you for the rest of my life. And hearing that I would be loved unconditionally, even if I never changed, made me want to change. It was like the freedom of like, okay, I'm accepted. Take a breath and say, what do I want to do? How do I want to grow? And then thinking about, having kids and all that stuff, I was like, I just want to be healthier, and I want to be ready for what's next. And I want my body to take me where I believe God has taken me. And I don't want to be the reason that it doesn't.
All right, this is Established with Angela Yee, and you know we are on Foxhole, and Foxhole has a lot of amazing content. You can download the app, the Foxhole app, or you can go to foxhole.tv and watch everything.